Good morning, everyone. Brian Rhodes here. Well, I want to talk to you about Whoops this morning, our short film that we'll be producing and completely developing and shooting with the help of Steemit. It's got to the point where I had to interview a couple of people. I reached out to a young producer. He hasn't gotten back to me yet, but I think he might be very good for the film, so I'm going to try to get in touch with him again this week. But I did interview a director. Now, I probably shouldn't be doing that. It should be left up to the producer. But in fact, I could produce this myself if I elected to. But let me first of all say that you voted on which role I would play, and I was quite surprised. But you've selected the role of Beasley. And not Charlie. I was kind of surprised at that, actually. But anyway, so I guess it's that role that I'll play. So now at least we could go ahead with some casting. But now getting back to the director, I think what I want to share with you is finding a director is not that difficult for a short film, obviously. But it is difficult, of course, when you're doing a feature film. So it's something we're going to be addressing down the line when we do Better Left Unsaid. But in this case, with Whoops, it's a little bit different. It's probably an opportunity for a beginning director, somebody who maybe doesn't have cred. Now, as much cred as one might want. I think the thing you want to understand if you're a filmmaker and you're looking for a director is there's no sense in looking for a director until you have everything lined up. By that I mean your funding's lined up, you've got, shall we say, a finished script and so on. If you aren't at that stage, hold off finding the director, because the director's got to see some light at the end of the tunnel, and you don't want to keep them holding on, say, oh no, I may have the money next month, but no, you see, you've got to, quite frankly, have it lined up. In this case, we do, but it will be a different story when we start doing Better Left Unsaid. All right, so I think now the next thing you have to do when you're looking for a director is you have to consider their enthusiasm for the project. If they're a good director, enthusiasm should be automatic. But some directors just don't have the enthusiasm that you'd expect. So they've got to be in love with the story. They've got to be excited about it. And the only way you can gauge that is give them the story to read and see what they come back with. I think you'll find that most will be enthusiastic, but you might be surprised at literally the response you get from some of them. The other thing to understand about the director for Whoops, because it's a short film, is that are they on the same page as the writer and producer? Now, I've got the hat of producer right now, so when I spoke to this director, I was speaking to them from the point of view of being a producer, and again, I had to ascertain whether they were on the same page. When I spoke to them, he had already read the short screenplay, and so I was looking for what he saw in the screenplay. Now, you have read the screenplay. There are a couple of very distinct subtleties here. And as a writer and producer, I'm very collaborative. So I look for a director to maybe tell me something that I didn't see in the screenplay. Now, this is probably a little more obvious because it's a short, right? But the fact of the matter is, are you a collaborative producer-writer? And is your director a collaborative director? Meaning that the idea is to find the best in the film and to be open to suggestions, maybe from a first AD even. So you've got to be able to determine whether your director is collaborative or not. And the time that you're speaking to them is the time you have to gauge that and understand that and make that decision, all right? So in this case, by being on the same page, there are, as I said just a few minutes ago, a couple of little nuances in this particular screenplay, and it was very pleasing to find that this director pulled them both out. Now I'll share them with you, and you can get an idea of kind of the subtext of things happening here. Most people get the idea that the little girl in Whoops could be a psychopath, right? That she actually killed off Beasley, right? Because maybe Beasley wasn't nice to her granddad, which of course we may change now because I'm playing Beasley. We may change that to her father, right? And it probably works a little better that way, as a matter of fact. But not a lot of people get that it's possible that the father or grandfather in the script that I posted is a co-conspirator, might very likely be a psycho duo in the making, and that we could develop into a TV series or whatever. Now that's the way I wrote it, but I wrote it very subtly. So as I was pleasantly surprised to find out this director really picked up on that. So that bodes well for this director. Now, I made a point of not going with this director just yet. I really would like to find the producer and to get that producer's agreement that this director might be good. But I have no doubt he's collaborative. He's got a great vision. He has, a good grasp of the story without question. So he would be a prime candidate for director of this film. One other thing about the film before I go. Well, first of all, I'll keep you posted on the directors and the producers, and the producer I'm looking for. But one other thing I want to make clear is that Whoops is a working title. We have to come up with a really good title for this. So, if you have any suggestions, right, let me know. Because the title Whoops just doesn't fit the idea of the story. It's a little too comedic. So I can't use that or see that as being anything but a working title, okay? So we're looking at producer now, we're looking at director, we've got a candidate for director, and I hope to be able to be introducing both to you in the near future. So that's it for today. If you have any questions, or if you feel that you want to be part of this project, you can email me at steemfilm@gmail.com. That's one word, steemfilm. And I'll get back to you shortly. So until next time, take care. Hope you're going to have a great day.